everyone! Today I have something a little bit special. I'm going to be making an entire dress based off of Bakugo's hero costume. There are a couple different iterations, but I'm going to go with this one for our purposes. I drew up this design a little while ago. I wanted to have a lot of tulle spilling out of the sleeves, kind of like an explosion or fire, and as you can see later, this does indeed make it very difficult to use my hands. I measured my arm and used these paper bags as well as a Sharpie to make the big sleeve pattern. Then I just trace it onto the fabric, and if you're wondering, using a Sharpie on black fabric is not effective at all. I later used white chalk, which is much more effective because, you can actually see it. I do the same with the gray part of my fabric so I can sew them together later, then use an oversized shirt to trace onto the black fabric so I can have the body of the dress. Though you can't really see it here, I take both the black and the gray pieces of the sleeve and sew them right sides together. After that, I take the two body pieces and sew them together at the shoulders, also right sides together, hem the sleeves, and attach it onto the dress. I do my best to show it here because I don't want you staring into the bright light of my sewing machine every single time. At this point, I have something I can sort of try on. Like, I can actually put it on my body at least. As you can see, it looks pretty good, but the sleeves are extremely long. Before I sew the sleeves and body shut, I put this orange stripe across the sleeve and iron it out. Anything else that I'll need to add to the sleeves later, I can just hand sew on. I really should have taken in the sleeves before I sewed everything shut, but I wasn't thinking at the time, so I folded them up about 9 centimeters and sewed them shut by hand because I kinda had to. With the excess, I just cut it off. Now that the sleeves are at a good length, I can use this tool and layer it together to get the color I want. I measure out the length of the arm, then take some ribbon, which I'll sew the tool to when I gather it up. I sew it all together in a straight line. This isn't the gathering stitch. I tried doing that with my machine, but it didn't work out too well. So I sew a straight line, then gather it all up and sew it to the ribbon. Once that's all together, I put it in the sleeve and hand sew it on. On the left is the tool as it is, and on the right is how I cut it. I cut both sides of the sleeve so that it's not as ridiculous and I can actually partially use my hands. For the collar, I take this rectangle and sew it into a tube. On the actual dress, it's not going to stick up like this, it's going to drape down and have volume. I sew on these orange circles that I sewed black circles onto, then sew these black circles onto the sleeves. To get the big bell shape of the skirt, I buy this hoop skirt, and here it is with no dress over it, and then here it is with a dress over it. It's good, but it doesn't exactly have the poof that I want the dress to have. So I had to wait another week for a new petticoat to come in, and here it is with nothing over it again, and then here it is with the dress over it. So to get the poof that I wanted to have, I put the petticoat over the hoop skirt. Then I just have to measure out the length that I want the skirt to be, which I cut out 2 big circles for, then pin them together. Here's what it looks like when I have both pieces sewn together, and I'm sorry about the horror movie lighting. I wish I got a better shot for this. In some better lighting, I turn both pieces inside out, then sew them together right sides together, which I just put through my machine. And now I have something that actually looks like a dress. With the limited use of my hands, I measure around my waist so I can make a belt. Just like with the collar, I cut out a black rectangle, but this time I sew snaps onto it instead of folding it into a tube, which you can't really see here all that well. So once all of those are on, I take these orange squares and slap them on. And now the dress is done. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and that you like seeing me make a full dress. This video ended up being a bit shorter than I thought it was gonna be. See ya!